Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Mortgage Matters in Minutes. Again, I'm your host, Brent Rasmussen, and this is your Mortgage Matters in Minutes today. And our question or our conversation that we're occurring, which has happened a couple times this week, does it matter where I get my pre-approval? And that's always a very valid question because it does make a difference, and a lot of people wouldn't think it really would. And we're going to chat a little bit about that today. Does it really matter where my pre-approval comes from or where I go to obtain that? And a lot of that comes in because of the type of market that we've seen and we are continuing to see, which is a low amount of inventory. So let's first chat about what a pre-approval is. And really a pre-approval is as simple as you as a borrower, as a consumer, submitting your application to the lender for them to review your credit, income, and your assets, and to assure that those items that you've submitted meet the rules of underwriting. So that way, at the end of the day, really what we're concerned about is, are you able to close on that loan when the time is needed, which usually means when you're buying a home, there's a certain closing date that we all have to meet. And you want to meet that closing date so you can move in and plan your life and all those things around it. So we're all shooting for that date, and if we don't get everything done before that closing date, it could be a problem. So it does make a difference where you get your pre-approval, as I can assure you that there are many lenders that don't meet time deadlines, that have problems because they don't maybe check out all the details of the items and rules that are needed for the pre-approval, and many other things. But we all know there's lots of options of where you can get your pre-approval at, whether you go to a bank, a credit union, a mortgage broker, a mortgage lender, your online lenders, the ones you see on TV, or your local bank or place that you carry your checking and savings accounts. Many people believe that it's easier to go with the bank or lender that you already work with, meaning that they're going to skip some kind of steps that other lenders may ask you for. All lenders, when it comes to doing loans, are going to ask for the same bit of paperwork. We're all going to ask for bank statements, pay stubs, driver's license, and assets. So while your bank may have your asset statements, that's one less thing you have to provide, you still would have to go through and provide the rest of the paperwork. So with any lender you go with, you do have to supply the same amount of paperwork. Where a lot of people enjoy going online because they plug in their information, they get almost an immediate result of a pre-approval letter. Well, what the problem with that is, if those lenders don't validate your information, you could be getting bad information or a bad pre-approval. And that happens all the time. So what we chat about is, does it matter where you get your pre-approval? We and most every realtor that has experience will advise you to go somewhere local. Don't call your 1-800 number. Don't go online to someone that's across the country. Because what the problem has occurred is some of these people don't have the experience to know what's needed, but also don't have the response time that some local lenders do. All of us that are local understand the costs and the fees and the structure and the time frame of how real estate happens in our local economy. When you're doing loans across the country, you might not understand what happens in Omaha, Nebraska could be different than whatever Pennsylvania or wherever Wyoming. And they could be different, and they are. I can assure with you that we collect property taxes different than the rest of the country here in Nebraska, Iowa area. Also, we have some of the most expensive property taxes and house insurance. So if the lender is not estimating the correct numbers or giving you the right numbers, at the end of the day, you might have a problem with not verifying enough funds to be able to close on that transaction, or many other things arise. I can chat with you and tell you, if you ask any of the realtors that you're working with, that they would rather work with a local lender versus an online lender, they always are going to say local. And why does that matter? Because these days, with the low inventory that we see, sellers want to be assured that that transaction is going to close without any issues, problems, and on time. And what we do know is that if someone here is in the area, if there is a problem, worst case scenario, that realtor can go into someone's office and knock on their door and say, what's going on here? We can't do that if it's an online lender, and if there's the phone number and the email, if they don't respond, there's nothing we can do about it. So using people local for your needs makes a huge difference in real estate with getting your home offer accepted, but also the least amount of stress, work, and closing on time. Also, we live in your community. We see you at the grocery store, at sporting events, at your kids' events, and we don't want to be the ones that have messed up a transaction. And that really goes deep into a great loan officer's well-being and who they are. They're not wanting to give bad information to see at the end of the day you not closing and getting your house, because that ultimately is what you're shooting for when you're obtaining a loan, generally speaking. Obviously, refinances, we have more time and wiggle room, but we still want to make the process as stress-free and seamless as we can for you. Here at Mortgage Specialists, we've been granting pre-approvals for over 20 years. We have a 99.9% pre-approval to closing ratio. Why is that important? Because other lenders don't. We assure when we go through the pre-approval process that you do meet the rules. We ask for all the paperwork in advance. We discuss all the issues of lending underwriting rules to make sure when you have a closing date set 30 or 45 days out, we know you're going to be getting to that closing table on time. I can assure you we've had 2 denials in over 20 years of lending, and one happens to be a foreclosure that wasn't disclosed. Another one was an underwriter that just was not having a great day. So those things do happen, but when we look at a whole, we go through the extra steps, or we call due diligence, to make sure that when you're getting that pre-approval, it's respected among the industry. And so when you are using that pre-approval to put in offers, other realtors in this community are going to respect Mortgage Specialists and accept your offer maybe over an online competitor or someone else that might not have that same reputation. One thing that we like to show you is that all mortgage originators aren't created the same. It doesn't necessarily matter what lender you go with. I feel that it's more important the loan office that you're working with and that they're responsive, knowledgeable, and experienced. One thing that we want to try to show you here on our screen share today is a website the government has created that we all have license that is deemed to be withheld and upheld, is that NMLS Consumer Access. All of us that are lending have an NMLS number. My particular NMLS number is 5918. It means when licensing started, I was the 5,918 individual to become licensed. Mortgage Specialist NMLS number is 2424. Which means we are the 2,424 company to become licensed to do loans by the new requirements the government's created. But what's nice about this website is that you can go and check out any mortgage company, or you can check out any mortgage originator. So I might type in here Mortgage Specialist, or I might type in here Brent Rasmussen. And we're going to be able to hit search, and it's going to pull up information once we type in this little QR code about where Brent Rasmussen works, where his previous work history has been, if he has any violations against him, against any state. But what's interesting is we all have to submit our 10 years worth of work history. And we can see for my history, I've been lending since 2001 and in the financial industry since 2001. Some other lenders might not have that same experience. You might see that their lender has only been lending for a year, 6 months, 3 years. And that might not be important to you. That might be okay by you. But for some people I know, experience does make a difference. And if you're listing, I've seen loan officers, their middle school, elementary, or high school as their work history the last 10 years, that may or may not be someone you want to work with. And it's very easy to find this website. You Google NMLS, consumeraccess.org, and you can look up any mortgage originator or any mortgage company that you want. There's not going to be a lot of information here, but it's going to be what we all have to submit to the particular licensing, which is the nationwide mortgage licensing system. So again, does your pre-approval make a difference where you go? 100%. Ask around, ask the realtor you're working with, ask the other realtors that you may know. Does it make a difference where I get my pre-approval? And all good real estate agents that are experienced and knowledgeable, just like we are at Mortgage Specialists, will tell you it makes an enormous difference. We had a case just this week where a client went online to get their pre-approval, and most of the numbers were not accurate, and we had to spend a lot of time showing them why the numbers they were looking at weren't correct and weren't accurate, and explain to them at the end of the day, whether they told you the right numbers, the wrong numbers, you're going to have problems because we know what the right numbers are. And unfortunately, they also explained to them that they could afford a much more expensive house than they wanted the payment for because they might not have been estimating taxes and insurance properly. So there's lots of different reasons that we say going with someone local is going to look after your best interest in getting your pre-approval. I hope you learned a little bit today. We would love to assist with any other questions you have with a phone call at 402-991-5153. You can always check out all of our blogs that we personally write at mtg-specialists.com, or you can check out our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. We can be connected and contacted in many different ways. We hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.